start with. So recording has started. So officially a warm welcome to this Europe Asia meetup of the SIG Embedded. As we discussed prior to the recording, the last meeting has been skipped because of the W3C meeting in Munich, Germany. And I don't know, I did not attend, but if somebody wants to share some insights from there.
I can give you some insights from Munich W3C meeting. So it was an in-person meeting in Munich. We have heard a lot of talks about upcoming proposals. One of those that is of particular interest in the special interest group is custom page sizes. Nick Fitzgerald presented that it's been implemented in a variety of runtimes, not yet in WAML. However, proceeding to phase 4 was not done because web engines, especially from Chrome, told that they're not planning to implement this. So that raises the question about the processes that have to be, the process steps that have to be done in order to come to a standard. And there were some discussions about is it still feasible that we need 2 web engines, or is it also enough to have one engine outside the browser and one engine in the browser? However, the discussion has not been done officially in terms of it was not an agenda item. Another thing that was I recognize that the WebAssembly Research Day that took place just right after the in-person meeting of the W3C was that nearly every talk there was in the non-browser world. So there were a couple of talks from the University of Ghent, from Airline, talks from, let's say Siemens-related persons in universities. And it's not a big surprise that that the talks of the research day was more or less not about the browser world. There were also talk about benchmarking, that kind of things. It's another hint that at the end of the day we should try to talk about the standardization process for WebAssembly. Yeah, that's in a nutshell from my perspective what happened there.
Thanks a lot, Thomas. Any remarks or questions from anyone? Yeah. So if not, maybe just a short side remark. I'm in the middle of it and I need to find some spare time to finalize it. But I actually did add custom page sizes, I think, to Vemma. I'm not fully done with the testing and the patching up. So it seems to be pretty easy to have the custom page sizes in, which really comes in super handy for super constrained devices. So I'm currently looking into very constrained devices with like 120 kilobyte of RAM, and the custom page size of 64 kilobyte basically breaks my neck. So, and I now have an example running with like 8 byte of linear memory, which is pretty low. So the only thing I have not yet figured out, so maybe somebody has a good idea, is why if I use VASI, the custom page size is ignored and it allocates 64K for having the VASI in. And I have not found where the 64K are allocated. I'm still on the hunt for that. So, but then it should be really easy to get it on super small devices as well. And it was like, I think, an easy fix. Let's see, the CI pipeline is not yet running through. So I hope I get it fixed over the next 2 weeks, all my free time. Let's see. Yeah, just as a shout out. And I think it will be really come in handy. Anywho, I put the link to the custom page size proposal in the chat for if you're interested to look at it. Any other topics for discussion today?
I can give an update on what I worked on during the summer. So basically, I've been implementing VASI 0.3, so streams and futures for the symmetric ABI. So actually the one which does not require a runtime, but where you can directly fuse the connector or connected modules, and they basically it's the one targeting native compilation. So if you want to go with the component model, but don't want to compile to WebAssembly, this is a very interesting target. More details you can actually find from my talk at last year's WASMCon, so exactly 1 year ago, or on my GitHub repository. And also the shared memory implementation. I use that for using a publisher subscriber without any copying. So really 0 copy publisher subscriber across multiple components for AutoSAR. So I implement AutoSAR on top of VIT, and there I need a way of just emulating the publisher subscriber. And so far that thing works quite well. And it's also being used for a publisher subscriber for video images in-house. So it's coming together quite nicely. And I'm currently investigating into an erase condition within the stream implementation I have, which is working nicely if I just run it within a single thread with an asynchronous executor in Rust. But once you add C++ to the mix, it gets into strange lockups. I think there's something not implemented yet because I really cleaned it up, and now it should be, at least the foundation should be bulletproof.
Yeah. So I put a link to your talk in the chat for anyone who's interested. So you implemented the O3 VASI in the thing you showed in your talk, where you basically use the VIT for non-runtime executed things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it works really nicely to just combine futures from C++ and Rust. So I can really pass a future from C++ to Rust and then just handle it as a normal future or vice versa. And you can easily debug across these things. So it's I'm quite happy with how it turned out.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And the code is to find on your GitHub?
But please keep in mind that I'm currently hashing out some bugs within the, especially the C++ implementation of streams and futures.
Awesome. Cool.
And the next step would be to just implement this proposal for caller-provided buffers, which means that you don't have any allocations with the component model anymore by just reusing these shared memory buffers. So that would be the next step. But I see that Luke actually did a presentation yesterday night about getting rid of allocations within the component model, and I would need to really align with him about this.
Oh, cool. Where did you give the presentation?
WASMCon yesterday, or last night.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. WASMCon is. Yeah, you're right. You should know this. Yeah. So we need to wait for it to be televised, or on YouTube. Yeah. This sounds so. Okay. Are there any questions to the O3 implementation from Christof? because if not, I mean, it will be on YouTube, but maybe if you do you feel able to go a little bit into detail about the allocationless component model?
Yes. For the allocationless component model, this one is called caller provided buffers. And at first, it was the idea of just handing out a memory region to the call from the caller to the callee for the result. And then Luke brought up the idea of using the buffers, which are already introduced by the stream implementation of VASI 0.3. So basically using some already structured interaction between the components. And I just extended that one to use the shared memory proposal, so shared memory buffers, so you would actually be able to attach them mutually across components, and then you would just pass for every larger argument or any argument which is of which is of dynamic size, you would basically just allocate or place these things in an into the shared memory buffer, and then you would detach it from the sender and attach it to the receiver, and then the receiver could just read out from these. Of course, for publisher subscriber, I actually make a difference here because normally it's a move semantic. So the publisher will actually move the data into the buffer, and the receiver will retrieve it from there, and then the ownership moved from sender to receiver.
Yeah.
But if you want to do a multiple, publisher subscriber with multiple subscribers, you cannot have each receiver take ownership of the contained resources, for example, but rather you need to do some copying. So in this case, it will be a read-only attach for the subscribers. And of course, if you multiple subscribers exist which read in parallel, of course, you need to do readouts. And for the return value, basically, there is another buffer passed to the. So this is sort of described within the issue in the component model repository. I have some idea on how to implement it. I just did not get to the point of just really finishing it because so far the 0.3 stream was the one. And for publisher subscriber, I'm happy with how it already turns out in a manual way, but I really would like to have it to use auto-generated code from the WIT file to just make it more easy to deploy, especially across languages.
And so the ownership is addressed by putting read-only flags or read-write flags on it, or
yeah, any shared buffer has to be read-only on the reader side. And once all the readers are done, the writer will reattach it, and then it will regain ownership of the published values. So there, only the writer can destroy or drop the objects within there. And of course, you would need a way of just duplicating resource handles in a very predictable way. So right now, there's no clear so there's no clear way of just expressing how to duplicate a resource handle right now.
Yeah, you would need some kind of atomic operation to work on these, or
atomic is not so that difficult, but you would need some well-defined method for duplicating the handle.
Yeah.
It could be a method called clone or dup. I think my first inspiration was to use a copy constructor, sort of, so which takes a constructor which takes a handle as an input. But that, of course, will not work well with the fact that you cannot overload constructors in WIT. So you quickly run out of names for the constructors. So probably a method called clone would be the best one. but there's no standardized way of expressing these things. But if you really want to send resource handles across this publisher subscriber, so multiple subscriber links, then you would need some standardized way of doing these things. And of course, the encoding of strings and vectors into the shared memory needs relative addressing. You cannot put absolute addresses into shared memory because it might attach a different address locations into different processes or different components.
I mean, I mean, if it's a copy, you would still lift and lower.
Yes.
On the shared buffers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But you should be able to get rid of the allocations, or if there's any allocations, it would be local to the component. And it would not be done within the or outside of the component.
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool. Do you know the I don't know if it's an interesting topic for everyone, but I think it's interesting because the no allocation part is something I'm really interested in. And the state of the proposal, maybe I can just look up the issue, then we can put a link in.
So basically, there was some discussion. I really would like to see Luke's current proposal, because in the past he has always been the person describing some magically advancement, which you have to watch multiple times to really get it, and then half a year later it becomes commonplace and is implemented, and it really feels like additional magic being added to WebAssembly. So I've seen that for the streams and futures, where he basically describes that the color of a function is no longer necessary because the runtime can take care of combining synchronous and asynchronous calls in each combination. And then he did a similar thing for the cooperative threads, which have been implemented 3 weeks ago, or actually merged 2 or 3 weeks ago. So now Wasmtime has cooperative threads. Yeah, basically because the shared everything threads proposal seems to be stalled, or at least takes several years to finish. And I know firsthand that people are just really desperate to find some way of combining the component model with threading, because you cannot port C++ applications without having a multi-threaded.
The proposal you're talking about, is this memory mapping in the component model?
No, that is the caller provided buffers. Let me quickly search for that one. There it is, issue 369 of the component model.
369. There it is. So it's open for quite some time. It's open for 1.5 years.
Yeah, it has been discussed for quite some time, and so.
Then I forgot it if I ever read it. Yeah. I already put the link in. Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think it somewhere also links to the current implementation on my GitHub, but I've been mostly involved with implementing it and not with documenting it that well. So
yeah. So feel you. Yeah. Okay, but there's no change on the.
So far, there's no proposal. I would guess that basically, as part of his presentation of last night, Luke will just create something within the component model repository soon.
I mean, there's also no comment on the issue for 8 days from now. It will be a year exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Yeah, but cool. I'm happy to see some action moving here.
Yeah, and really getting rid of the allocations. There seems to be a lot of activity right now. yeah, everything seems to come together nicely now.
Yeah.
I've been waiting
Yeah.
for exceptions and multiple threading and allocation free for some years now.
Yeah.
But it really
Yeah,
seems to come together.
I recall your talk from last year's WASMCon that you pointed out that there are plenty of mallocs you needed to do to get this running, if
Yep.
I recall correctly. So,
Yep.
yeah. Cool. Awesome. Okay, thanks for giving a deep dive. I hope not everybody got bored, but I really find it very interesting. And thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks for the interest.
Awesome. Any other ideas or things to discuss right now?
Also, if you're interested in combining streams, sorry, not streams, TCP sockets and multi-threading, then the recently merged proposal actually might be very interesting to you. It's not yet implemented within the libc. I'm hoping for that to happen soon. I'm doing my own experiments, and it's quite promising. So this is the first time that actually there is a WebAssembly or VASI standard which would allow the combination of TCP streams or UDP socket connections and multi-threading, even if it's cooperated up to now. And I know that quite a lot of people have been asking for this over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the merge request, which implemented cooperative cooperative threading within WASM time. And this matches the presentation Luke gave in March of this year.
I see. Oh, cool. Thanks for sharing.
Christoph, I like to admit that I liked your talk at the last year's WASMCon. I already have seen it nearly a year ago, so I directly hopped onto it once it was available. Super interesting, also with combining it using the strength of the component model, even not using WebAssembly at all. However, one of the basic interests is the sandboxing feature, right? And this is where WebAssembly has, in my opinion, a sweet spot. So yeah, looking forward. I have had the chance to talk to Luke at the W3 event, and he also told me that they have plans, not only plans, but directly implementation ideas to get rid of the reallocs for the component model. So not only where to get the buffers, but also the reallocation kind of things that, yeah, would put some pressure on real-time acting systems if you have it in place. Of course, yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm curious about it, and yeah, quite glad to have you on this, also looking for it.
Please keep in mind we just implemented this native compilation to just go for the extra percentage of performance. So if you really cannot afford the additional performance from you lose by doing the sandboxing, and you need to fuse it, and even if you compile to embed it. So basically, yeah, whenever the few percent you actually lose from compiling to WebAssembly components is not acceptable, then this is an option which still keeps the modularity and is fully source code compatible with the other ones.
Absolutely. That's why I like it. So it's
Yeah.
It underlines the flexibility that you can reach with such an approach.
Yep.
Very cool. Okay. Any other inquiries, things to share, to discuss today? Are you missing any points, or do you want to address something? If not, I would again thank you all for participating and sharing, and would stop the recording once I find there's the button. So stop the recording.